person in the 21st century, you're probably very familiar with the concept of continuous improvement, the consistent and ongoing effort to improve processes, products, or services. And as a certified Six Sigma Black Belt, you will be responsible for showing your company the way to increasing quality and decreasing costs. In this video, you will study the foundation and a brief history of various approaches that eventually led to the evolution of Lean and Six Sigma. The Industrial Revolution and the advent of machines changed the early concept of quality, which was considered hit or miss and largely determined by the skills of individual craftsmen. Since the 1800s, continual innovations in the means of production, tools, and machines resulted in an explosive growth in the production of goods that has continued to this day. Accompanying this innovation in the means of production is an evolution in the tools, methods, techniques, and approaches used for quality control and continuous process improvement. Many events, approaches, methods, and tools are important in the history of continuous process improvement. 5 important events are the Plan, Do, Check, Act, or Pdca Cycle, Statistical Process Control, or SPC, Quality Circles, Total Quality Management, or TQM, and ISO 9000, and Baldrige criteria for performance excellence. 2 important methods were developed in the 1920s. The Pdca cycle was developed by W.S. Schuhart. Later improved by Deming, Pdca is an iterative problem-solving loop that is the basis for nearly all continuous process improvement approaches, especially lean manufacturing. Schuhart control charts were invented as a way to control process variation. Later, control charts became the basis of statistical process control, or SPC, an important element in continuous process improvement. From your Greenbelt studies, you should already be familiar with 7 pioneers of the quality science: Dr. Walter Schuhart, Dr. W. Edwards Deming, Dr. Joseph Juran, Dr. Kaoru Ishikawa, Dr. Genichi Taguchi, Dr. Armand Feigenbaum, and Philip Crosby. Access the content Quality and Continuous Improvement Pioneers after this video if you wish to review the 7 theorists' contributions. The quality sciences received a boost during the Second World War. The U.S. Army adopted control charts and statistical techniques to help in the manufacture of arms, equipment, ships, planes, and other warfare needs. After the war, the quality of U.S. products fell by the wayside as American companies abandoned quality in their pursuit of higher profits. At the same time, the quality movement traveled to Japan. Doctors Deming and Juran, among others, went to Japan after the war to help the Japanese people stimulate the economy. Adapting what they learned, engineers at Toyota devised a comprehensive methodology known as the Toyota Production System. A forerunner of lean manufacturing, this system focused on eliminating waste, reducing inventory, and speeding up processing time. In addition, Toyota engineers learned how to tap into the power of their workforce for continuous process improvement. They invented quality circles, independent teams of 6 to 8 workers who meet periodically to identify opportunities for improvement and submit them to management. By the 1980s, using the new manufacturing methodology, Japanese industries were decimating what were considered to be traditionally American markets. U.S. industries scrambled to find ways to meet the challenge. 2 continuous improvement methodologies rose to prominence during this time. Total Quality Management, or TQM, was invented in Japan in the 1950s. However, it achieved prominence in the U.S. in the 1980s. TQM is a comprehensive set of management practices and tools that focuses intensively on meeting or exceeding customer requirements. TQM emphasizes process measurement and controls and seeks to involve all employees in process improvement. ISO 9000 is a set of standards that helps businesses to organize for producing high-quality goods. Companies certified as ISO 9000 compliant conduct business locally and internationally with an assurance of an agreed-upon quality level. Both TQM and ISO 9000 helped many companies trim the fat and improve quality. However, there were still many U.S. companies that didn't want to spend time and money on quality. Recognizing a potentially disastrous consequence of this attitude, the U.S. Congress took action. It established the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in an attempt to inspire companies to achieve higher quality. The award is given annually to companies that exemplify innovation, excellence, and world-class performance. The Baldrige criteria for performance excellence are published by the National Institute of Standards, or NIST, to provide guidance for companies that seek to establish excellence in performance management. Evolution is messy. Ideas sometimes appear long before they're used, and it's sometimes difficult to pinpoint when events occurred. But in describing the evolution of Lean and Six Sigma, understanding the order in which continuous improvement approaches gained prominence in the quality sciences is important. The Pdca cycle appeared in the 1920s. Statistical process control was in widespread use in the 1960s. Quality circles were adopted by many U.S. manufacturers by the early 1980s, and then Total Quality Management and ISO 9000 appeared in the mid-1980s. Finally, the Baldrige criteria for performance excellence were first published in the late 1980s. In the late 1980s and the 1990s, work in the quality sciences intensified. Additional methods or approaches occurred during this time, including benchmarking, re-engineering, Balanced Scorecard, Six Sigma, and Lean. Benchmarking is a strategy for improving the organization by adopting applicable best practices of industry leaders. Benchmarking helps an organization to identify what it does well and not so well, and emulate and adapt the leader's processes in order to achieve superior performance levels. Benchmarking did not influence the evolution of Six Sigma directly. However, benchmarking became a widely accepted method in Six Sigma for setting improvement goals and for identifying best practices and improvement solutions in order to deliver superior products and processes. Re-engineering is a method for streamlining the organization. By the 1990s, many companies built according to the traditional pyramid structure were top-heavy and populated with turf-guarding, empire-building executives. Rigid divisional boundaries protected the status quo and prevented innovation. In their 1993 book, Re-engineering the Corporation, A Manifesto for Business Revolution, Michael Hammer and James Champy urged senior management to throw everything out and build back with less staff and on the basis of processes rather than along functional lines. The re-engineering movement successfully streamlined many organizations. It also resulted in massive layoffs. The Balanced Scorecard is a method of aligning business activities to the vision and strategy of the organization. The Balanced Scorecard improves internal and external communications and monitors organizational performance against strategic goals. The Balanced Scorecard is based on work done in France and at General Electric in the 1950s, but it was popularized by Robert S. Kaplan and David P. Norton in their 1996 book, The Balanced Scorecard. In the face of bitter competition from Japan in the early and mid-1980s, Motorola created a new quality initiative from elements in the mainstream quality control movement. Motorola called its invention Six Sigma. Popularized by Jack Welch at General Electric in the mid-1990s, Six Sigma is one of the world's most popular continuous improvement methodologies. Six Sigma uses continuous improvement techniques and a specialized toolkit to drive products and services to near perfection by reducing variation and defects through the application of sophisticated statistical techniques. The Toyota production system developed in Japan in the 1950s and 1960s continued to fascinate quality engineers into the 1990s. By 2000, U.S. organizations had sufficient experience with the methods and tools to successfully implement the technology, now renamed Lean. Lean focuses on manufacturing without waste. Its tools are used to reduce waste, cost, and cycle time, and improve process flow. Lean is also being used successfully in non-manufacturing concerns. Focus on quality improvement intensified during the late 1980s and 1990s, reaching an evolutionary apex with Six Sigma and Lean. Benchmarking achieved prominence in 1988. Then re-engineering took hold in 1993 with Hammer and Champy's book Re-Engineering the Corporation, a Manifesto for Business Revolution. Six Sigma came to prominence in 1995 when it was successfully adopted at General Electric. And in 1996, the Balanced Scorecard was popularized by Robert S. Kaplan and David P. Norton. Finally, Lean was in widespread use by 2000. Now, let's review Lean and Six Sigma. Six Sigma evolved directly from mainstream quality control methods. In the 1970s, a Japanese company took over a Motorola plant that produced TV sets. Japanese corporate leaders changed the management and workflow, but they retained the workforce, technology, and designs. The factory was soon producing TV sets with 1/20th the number of defects. Motorola realized that in order to survive, it had to change. In the mid-1980s, Motorola CEO Bob Galvin launched the initiative known as Six Sigma, which turned the company around. Six Sigma enabled Motorola to save $16 billion and win the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award in 1988. Then, in 1995, Jack Welch converted General Electric into a Six Sigma operation with legendary results. After that, Six Sigma's popularity really took off. Six Sigma incorporates the work of many quality pioneers, as well as proven approaches and techniques that came before. It has several characteristics. First, there's the emphasis on the DMAIC approach to solving problems. DMAIC is based on the Pdca improvement cycle. There's also the rigorous application of statistics using statistical tools in all phases of DMAIC, specifically in the analyze, improve, and control phases. Use of proven tools and techniques for defect reduction is another characteristic. Six Sigma uses statistical, strategic, financial, analytical, project management, and business tools to address process and quality-related issues. Then there's the use of well-trained independent teams to handle well-defined projects. The use of independent teams and worker participation was pioneered by the Japanese with quality circles and the Gemba. The final characteristic is reorganization to focus on processes and quality rather than functional silos. Re-engineering, TQM, and ISO 9000 all advocate a process-oriented approach to organizing for quality. In addition, Six Sigma is increasingly being used with the Balanced Scorecard. The Balanced Scorecard helps a company to determine its objectives and metrics. After the company determines what it wants to achieve, the business improvement strategy moves on to project selection. In this stage, a company decides which projects are viable or require urgent attention. Six Sigma then takes over to address performance gaps. Lean came from a different evolutionary path than Six Sigma. Lean was formed in a Japanese manufacturing environment. In 1949, at the Toyota Motor Company, Taiichi Ono and Shigeo Shingo began to work with Henry Ford's production techniques, as well as the statistical quality control practices of Ishikawa, Deming, and Juran, and the Pdca cycle as modified by Deming. Ono and Shingo rolled their methods into the Toyota production system. The new system focused on removal of waste and reduction of inventory. It successfully reduced setups to minutes and seconds, allowing for small batches and an almost continuous flow of product. In addition, Ono and Shingo pioneered the use of participation management and independent self-managed teams. Their work produced the quality circle movement and the Gemba. Gemba means shop floor, and Toyota keeps a high percentage of its management on the Gemba. Supervisors become aware of quality issues as they arise and resolve disputes promptly. When news of Toyota's success hit the outside world, American executives went to Japan to study Toyota's methods. By the 1980s, some American manufacturers were achieving success with elements of Toyota systems. In 1990, James Womack coined the term lean manufacturing to describe the combined techniques and methods of the Toyota production system in his book, The Machine That Changed the World. By 2000, there was a body of experience and knowledge about lean, and the methodology was in widespread use. Since lean is also being applied in many non-manufacturing environments today, the word manufacturing has largely been dropped from the name. The history of continuous improvement is not long, but it is rich with innovative thinkers, concepts, and ideas. Many different tools, approaches, and techniques comprise the foundations of continuous improvement methodologies. 10 of these approaches are the Plan, Do, Check, Act, or Pdca Cycle, Quality Circles, Statistical Process Control, or SPC, and Total Quality Management, or TQM, and ISO 9000, the Baldrige criteria for performance excellence, benchmarking, re-engineering, the Balanced Scorecard, Six Sigma, and Lean. Six Sigma evolved from the quality control mainstream. It combines ideas of PDCA, SPC, TQM, benchmarking, and, increasingly, the Balanced Scorecard. Lean evolved in the manufacturing sector as part of the Toyota Production System, TPS, in Japan. Influenced by PDCA and Henry Ford's ideas for process efficiency, Lean is also increasingly being applied to the non-manufacturing sector. You can access the job aid Key Developments in the Evolution of Lean and Six Sigma after this video to learn or verify the order in which the 10 key techniques, approaches, or methods were popularized and adopted for widespread